Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Mateo301 and today we are checking out the PIMAX Dream Air, which is an extremely lightweight and super high-end PC VR headset. Now I've had the device for roughly 2 weeks now and I've been putting it through its paces nonstop, trying everything from older PC VR games that I'm super familiar with, titles I've only played on the Meta Quest, and just a few extra games that I know should work well with an OLED screen. Now at this point, I've owned over 30 different VR headsets and I know what works, what doesn't work, what's good, what's bad, and what is my personal preference. Historically, the 5 or so other PIMAX headsets that I've owned or tried were not my favorite, but that has changed with the Dream Air. Now I do have a few smaller complaints that we will get into, but I much rather start things off with some overall impressions. Now historically, my relationship with PIMAX headsets has not been a great one. In fact, it's been quite poor. There's always a lot of technical issues, hardware issues, software issues, you name it. It usually leads to me being frustrated and never using the headset again. But with the Dream Air right here, 1, I will definitely be using it again. 2, I have a lot more confidence in PIMAX now. They've come up with a great PC VR design, and 90 to 95% of that PIMAX headache and friction is removed. I plugged this headset in, installed PIMAX Play, turned on Steam VR, everything worked. That's it. No initial headache. It wasn't broken in the box. It didn't have driver issues. I didn't need to reinstall my driver. No crazy PIMAX nonsense that I've dealt with in the past. There are some lingering issues that I'll get to later on, but that's where I'm at. I have more confidence in PIMAX. I now have an absolutely amazing sim setup. That's what I'm going to be using this for. But unfortunately, this will not be my daily driver. And I'll let you know why later in the video. But before that, here are some of PIMAX's lingering issues. Now, as previously stated, this was my smoothest PIMAX experience to date, but some lingering headaches do remain. Now, the biggest issue I faced with this headset is subpar tracking with these controllers. Now, they're also kind of old school and have that full ring, which I don't care. I do smack the ring together every once in a while, but you'll notice once you put them down at your side, it takes a while before the headset starts tracking them again. So when you do a quick motion from your hip all the way up, say you're grabbing a gun, half the time you don't get that gun. And I didn't really notice this until I started playing competitive games. I got into Forefront, and I would say it definitely got me killed a few times. Oh, tracking sucks. Now, Forefront is looking better than it's ever looked to me, but if I can't compete, it's going to be frustrating. Now, in other single-player games, and even something like Until You Fall, tracking felt fine, but this did start to become a persistent headache for me in a bunch of different games. But that was honestly the only major frustration or continual headache that I faced. Something that was pretty annoying, but more specific to my hardware, comes down to the fact that once I plug this thing in, it kind of pisses off my USB drives, and even I think it's pushing max bandwidth to my monitors. Now, my monitor setup is crazy. I have 2 extremely high-end screens that run at 240 hertz, and then you throw something with even higher resolution and 90 hertz in there, yeah, we're probably pushing the bandwidth of an RTX 5090. Now, the USB issue most likely comes down to the PIMAX software, because it didn't matter where I plugged it in, but the second I did connect it, it does look like that USB bus is at least momentarily overloaded, and things like my wireless mouse and keyboard stop working. There was also another weird issue where the Pi Home application sometimes just kept running, even after I shut off the headset, Steam VR, whatever game I was playing, you name it, it would just run in the background and just kind of keep eating up GPU for no reason. Now, obviously, I unplug the headset, all these issues go away, or I shut down all the software, those issues go away. But it's still a little bit of that remaining PIMAX annoyance and friction. Now, it also feels like this headset is kind of stuck in 2 different categories. One is it's old school wired PC VR, which people love for reasons. And like I said, it is a little old school. It's kind of hard to go back to a wire after being wireless for so long. This new design is okay. Every once in a while, I'm not paying attention and I kind of try to stick my head through that way. But, that's just getting used to the headset type of stuff. There's no weird pull on one side. So overall, this is a good design. It's insanely light. This headset is tiny, and we didn't even get to the best part yet, which is the quality. But I'm also going to make you wait a second before we jump into that while I quickly go over some of the specs of this headset. It's packing an absolutely insane micro-OLED display at 7680 by 3552 resolution. That's basically 4 times the pixel density of the Meta Quest 3 or the yet to be released Steam Frame. It does have a DisplayPort, so the visuals are uncompressed. It's insanely light at 170 grams. And you could also purchase this as headset only to utilize your existing base station tracking, or you could get the Slam version, which does include controllers. And it comes with the $2,000 and up price tag to match. But honestly, guys, we know that PIMAX does enthusiast level hardware, and this is no exception. In fact, I actually think they're a little bit more grounded for the first time. They're not going insane FOV or maximum pixels or the clearest density, these resolutions that not even the RTX 5090 can hit. No, I think we finally caught up, and they finally gave us an excellent all-in-one package. Not something that just chases numbers on a piece of paper that says we have the largest FOV or the most pixels. They gave us an overall solid package. The audio quality is surprisingly good, but there's a nice amount of bleed, which unfortunately did bleed into my microphone sometimes. So on multiplayer games, people are like, hey, I hear an echo. But the mic quality is good. The audio quality is good. The visuals, finally, let's get to the big point. The visuals are absolutely insane. Now, I've said this a million times on live streams and stuff. I'm not someone who's super susceptible to OLED displays. Color is an interpretation that happens in your brain. We can measure it, but we can't really say if you see it exactly the same as I do. And we know that's true based on that whole, what color is the dress? Is it white and gold or blue and black days? So we see colors differently. And OLED has never been a big deal for me, but holy crap. It's like using new eyeballs. I finally had the PIMAX wow moment where people always go like, no, when you see something this good, you're not going to want anything else. And yes, it is pretty badass. Now, I do need to go into my games every once in a while, and even with an RTX 5090 and a 9800 X3D, I do need to occasionally lower down the resolution because it's just an insane number. So I do have to do a few tweaks here and there, but it's nothing like the old days of PIMAX. If you have a super high-end headset, for the most part, most games will turn on and run pretty well. And then there's a few games that are higher end that you're gonna have to fiddle with a little bit for your stable 90 frames per second. And the fiddling was one of the things that used to drive me nuts on older PIMAX headsets. I understand this is made for enthusiasts and those who like to tweak settings to perfection, but also at the same time, when you put so much money down, it's kind of nice to just have hardware work out of the box. But this is the point of the video where I'm gonna go crazy over the actual quality, because we know there's a huge difference from when you jump into a VR game or you watch a flat screen playing of that game. It just feels so much more immersive, looks so much more real, and the sense of depth is just obviously incredible. It's something you can experience on a flat screen. But getting into games with this, I saw details in games that I've played a million times before that I've never really noticed. Foot pedal shouldn't be, oh, that kick. I'm shutting up. That's oh my God, even with the settings down, it is still freaking incredible. Now, if you're like, why would you ever turn their settings down? With a 5090, I wanted to lower the resolution a little bit and it wouldn't let me. Holy crap. Like playing Until You Fall, I've noticed there's actually a skull in the like wooden face of the enemies, or even the detail on the tiny little goblins in Demio Battle Mark was insane. And that color, man, holy crap. Like just looking at the intro to Blade and Sorcery, I was salivating. And I even had a flat screen wow moment. Now, I play my games on these massive screens, high resolution, 240 hertz, but I actually threw on a few flat screen games and used this as a virtual monitor, and it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible as a virtual monitor. Now, I did have a little performance issues here and there. More tweaking was required, especially because I was recording. Recording kind of went to shit with this device occasionally, but just know that's why I put up some performance specs. Everything I was playing in VR was solid. And I made sure that I got solid frame rate and I wasn't skipping frames, dropping frames, and I was aiming for a solid 90 the whole time, and lots of games delivered on that. So I was pretty pumped. Now, again, this is still kind of early impressions because I've only had the headset for 2 weeks, and I definitely need to give it a try without SLAM tracking and go back to base stations. But in the meantime, this is my new killer sim rig. I'm gonna get way more into racing and flying games, and I feel like I'm finally getting the PIMAX experience that some other enthusiasts go on and on about. Now, even if this headset isn't perfect for me, then again, what headset is, I'm still fairly impressed with what PIMAX delivered. Yes, the price tag is still pretty insane when you're looking at $2,000 and up. And yes, you need an extremely high-end PC to run this thing, but overall, it's incredible. It's got future proofing, and it is the best display I've ever seen in VR, hands down. Like minimal distortion, no glare, true blacks, that contrast is amazing, and the clarity is just so damn good. I'm testing out a PIMAX Dream Air. Holy crap, are things clear. Like, it's insane. And on top of that, PIMAX has removed a lot of the previous fiction. For the most part, the headset just works right out of the box. And while I still need to tweak a little bit and get a couple software frustrations, this is a major step forward for PIMAX. The only things that don't feel like a step forward is in 2026, being wired just feels so annoying. And I couldn't imagine playing like super aggressive run around the room games with this. But like I said, perfect for seated experiences or your sims. That's where this thing is really gonna shine. Now, those tracking issues I had probably won't be a big issue for most of the people who buy this headset, because I'm expecting it to go to PCVR gamers who already have a base station setup. And if you can afford this thing, you can afford one of those setups if you don't have one for some reason. So if you are big on PCVR, you like the sim games, you like maximum graphical fidelity, this is the headset for you. I'm honestly, for the first time, impressed by PIMAX. Again, it's not going to be my daily driver because of the tracking issue, because some of the setup issues that it causes on my PC, the fact that I got to reset the Guardian every once in a while, which is annoying. All those little things are probably going to annoy me from using it more frequently. Also, the fact that I got to tweak games here and there. And I just like the fact that I could grab my Quest, click Steam Link, and it just connects to my computer. It's actually faster than starting the 2 applications that PIMAX requires. So yeah, little pros and cons there, but fidelity wise, they finally nailed it. So good on you, PIMAX. I would love to see a cheaper device in the future. So we'll see what happens with the Dream Air SE. I think that's more suited to average people. You know, overall, we don't need the insane 27 million pixels this thing delivers. That's too much. Average hardware can't handle this. But ultimately, I'm impressed. Don't have too much bad to say about it, which I was not expecting. Now, I'm already planning some additional coverage for this headset in the future, but in the meantime, if you have any questions, drop them down below. I'll do my best to reply to you guys, get you your answers. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing.